Chicago. It is late at night. So
Take you. Okay.
let us play.
Does that mean we're in?
I have no idea.
You're in now, yes.
Oh.
Welcome, everyone, to Windy City Kindred. I guess we're live on the internets, the interwebs, early in the morning on the Pacific coast. But hopefully, we're catching the evening over in Europe, and we got some really hardcore vampire fans that are going to appreciate this.
There you go.
Brits, Germans, French. We're doing some accents. You might appreciate it. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to my cast. How are you guys doing tonight? This evening.
This afternoon.
Good morning-ish. Well,
No, let's not blow the reality of it. This is
this evening I'm doing quite well.
It is evening.
It's nighttime all the time.
Sister Vindicta went to the extent of going to her church or her convent and behind her. Julian, I see you've brought the shadows in on you. Oh God, this is feeling
That's
so
good.
good.
I don't do it. It does it on its own.
It does it on its own. Yes. So last week we had a wonderful little get together where everybody journeyed out to Gary. We laid the hooks for the story to come, and everybody sort of made it back in one piece. You had exciting people to meet. You met one of the leaders of the Anarchs in Gary, the motorcycle gang out there, a gang girl named Kalaka. You've met Cedric Calhoun. Seems to be a mover and a shaker in the Nosferatu world. He sent you out there and was interested in what you had when you came back. But you insisted on giving that information directly to the prince. So you had an audience with the prince on your first night together. This is so exciting. Last week, I thanked Onyx Path and White Wolf for being the publishers. This week, I want to thank Wicked Studios, LLC, for putting us up on Twitch. And, of course, to Will DM, who hosts Tales of Savage Land on Wednesday nights with me and Grace in it. Thank you, Will, for being our producer. Thank you, Wicked Studios, for being our host. And especially thank you to Dylan Trahan for doing that very, very cool opening that we got. That little 20-second animated opening is just sets the mood right, I think. That's some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So thank you to all those people. And thank you to my cast. So let's begin the way we always begin. It
Not
is
with me first.
Not with you first. Okay. It is late at night, Chicago. So let us play. We'll start with you, Julian, because you 2 nights ago, when everyone got together, it was a Monday night. Tonight is a Wednesday night. Things have changed over the course of one evening. You sent some gifts to your newfound friends. You know that the thigh bone was delivered to Napoleon. You know that a rosary was delivered to Sister Vindicta. You're pretty sure that Lilith got your envelope, though you haven't really heard anything directly, and you weren't actually able to find out where she lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a little curious about that. Your man was able to follow her as far as Back of the Yards, a terrible neighborhood for a Toreador to live in. And he lost her in a group of row homes. There was some sketchy guy hanging around that same area, seemed to be looking for the same thing. He offered to deliver the envelope on behalf of your man, and eventually your man had to relent and let him. So
Okay.
you assume she received your envelope, you don't know for sure, and you don't know where she lived. But if you run into her again, you could ask.
I'll do that.
It's Wednesday evening, middle of the week. You're at your home in the North Beach area, that luxurious pat of land of yours. Let's take a look at this place. I do so love this home. I am a bit envious.
You and I both.
Yeah.
I've also included a picture of Julian White there on that page so that people may enjoy the representation. You're going to receive a message this evening that's going to ask you to come to Morton's Steakhouse in downtown Chicago. You know Morton's. It's a very upscale steakhouse. It's 24 hours, and the movers and shakers of the city always congregate there, both mortal and immortal alike. The kind and kindred sort of mix in this place, even though the mortals don't realize it. You've been asked to go pretty late. It's another midnight meeting. You assume, at least from this message, that you're there to meet with Calhoun and the sheriff, Damien, which is why you have a little profile on him available to you. Damien's a kid, but not a kid. He's a little uncomfortable to look at because he looks about 14 years old. And in the kindred world, turning a child is
Gauche.
very gauche. But 14 is sort of this weird age where, well, maybe he was ready, maybe he wasn't. But now that he's much, much older and doesn't look any older, it's off-putting. That and the fact he tends to play into it. He keeps his little high-pitched speech. He wears his T-shirts from his band. He's very into making his band go viral, which is one of the rumors of why he became sheriff. He only took on that role for the prince in exchange for the prince allowing him to pursue his music. And anybody who's heard it, music, they put the quotes around it.
Well,
So when you wake this evening, you, as you always do, it tends to rouse your blood, and maybe it makes you hungry, maybe it doesn't. Give me a rouse check and let's find out. I should go there. Oh no, that's a 4. You feel a little bit more peckish this evening. So that on your character sheet should take you to 2 dots of hunger, and you can decide what you want to do with that later on. You can carry that with you to the meeting, or you can take care of it on the way.
okay.
Going to the meeting at midnight then? Morton's Steakhouse?
Yeah, before I do that, I want to call up whoever I would on the music end of Omni Media Group. And I just want to see what producers are, which ones are really bad but popular, especially in the indie crowd, in the indie scene.
If you're looking for that good bad sort of thing, then you're looking for Baby Chorus. That's Damien's band. They had a top 30 regional hit 8-10 years ago, and they've been riding that minor success ever since.
Right, yeah. So I just want to see if there are any producers. Well, I know that there are in Omni Media Group, you know.
Sure.
Maybe I could help this really talented band out.
The problem is the people at Omni Media Group in the music department have heard his music.
Right.
Oh, well, here, let me illustrate this further. They send you an MP3 of his biggest hit. Would you would you like to hear it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'll play till about the solo, and then we'll cut it off, because that might be, well, you'll get it.
Goodbye, goodbye, Chicago. Goodbye, raise the curtain one last time. The time when I need you most. My my soup is growing colder. I will never be a heavy metal musician. An unknown sunset gilds the cities I will never know.
Oh, but I said I was going to go to the solo.
Break it down. And occasionally I will compromise.
And that's probably enough. See, that's
Okay. Well, change of plans. Instead of hooking them up with the producer, I hear that Wes Anderson has a new movie coming out soon. So maybe I'll just reach out to him.
he might use something like this for his score.
I feel like during a very pivotal bad scene, in the background of a dry cleaner or something like that, this music might fit in.
Omni Media Group is going to try to make that sale on behalf of you, on behalf of Damien, and hopefully he'll sign off on it. Wes Anderson should be artsy enough so that the kid doesn't feel like he's selling out.
Well, I mean, I don't want to presume that Baby Chorus would be interested, but maybe I can mention it during our meeting.
Excellent. You'll put a feeler out then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go. This time I will take the Bentley. No. No. This time I'll take something a little bit nicer. Yeah.
You are going to Mortons. They're used to it.
Right. Specifically, whatever I have that will have a back seat that I can have my actual laptop in, because those touch screens are killer.
Touch screens, as the rest of the Kindred know, don't actually work on dead bodies. You don't conduct any sort of electricity through your finger when you do it. Julian himself even has to wear a little fingertip to make it work.
Right.
So, yeah. So you want your full-on laptop, keyboard, everything in the back?
Yeah.
You can do that. From where you're coming in, north of the city, it'll be a little while, but the commute isn't far, maybe 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay.
With that, let's move on. Let's talk to Lilith, because she was pursued there for a little bit. There was a man going up and down your street trying to find an envelope. Had an envelope trying to find you to give it to you. You avoided him, but eventually he relented and gave it to the guy across the street. I don't want to actually role play that scenario because I feel it would be pretty sad. Yeah. When he came to your door, he was angry, confused. He had this unlife thrust upon him, and he wasn't prepared for it. He doesn't know what to do with it. You could see that he's angry and hungry, and you suspect, though you're not looking at his aura, that he's probably already killed without knowing why he was hungry, why he did these things.
Yeah, I mean, I would try my best to kind of sit him down, calm him down, and explain like why this life is, or this unlife is better than the life before him that he had before. He has the opportunity of being a part of something bigger than what human life was, the trash that is human life.
He does not agree with you. He's not even a night person. And he's resentful at having been turned against his will. His goal entirely is to make you remember that.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I think that I would think that I would kind of, it make me step back and think, just because I want something doesn't mean everyone else does. And that probably would make me just want to fight harder in the future.
He'll leave having had his say, and now you know how he feels.
Right.
Some people do take this on and embrace it as a newfound power and a gift. Others see it as a curse, and he's one of those.
Right.
Same thing, though. You have also been invited to Morton's Steakhouse this evening. Cedric Calhoun had sent you word. But before we go there, if you open the envelope after your friend leaves, it's an offer of an internship at Omni Media Group, courtesy of Julian White.
Right. Okay. I would ponder it. It would take me a while to think on it, though.
If you open it in front of your guest, he'll advise you hold out for a paying job before he leaves.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be a factor for me. Being a Toreador, I need to think about my financial gain more than what like. I mean, it would look good for me to work for Omni, but at the same time, I need to move someplace presentable before I can venture down that way.
Yeah. This, as nice as you might want to make this place, it's never really going to look Toreador.
Right. I mean, I know I'm perfectly happy with it. It's one of those things that I cried when I saw it the first time, but being who I am now, it doesn't suit my needs anymore.
Fair enough. But as for the meeting, luckily, downtown is so much closer than where you guys were headed last time. So just a quick bus and a quick L to ride the loop in the downtown area, and you'll get off very near Morton's.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, I would do the same thing that I did before, kind of leave the area in kind of shabby clothes and find some place to change into something a lot more presentable, a lot nicer, a lot fancier.
When you're leaving the neighborhood, you see your friend still across the street. He, without even knowing what he's doing, he's activating Blush of Life, and he lights a cigarette and takes a drag, forcing his body to inhale and exhale and carry on that human tradition that he still hasn't let go of.
Right. And I mean, I get that to a certain extent because it's new for me too. I get clinging to the human tradition.
But he lets you go. I think he enjoyed the conversation more than he seemed. But you'll also remember that even a few nights back, there was a body found in your neighborhood. Right. And if you're putting two and two together, who knows?
Right.
So you'll join everyone over at Morton's. Well, you don't know that, but you'll go to Morton's and meet with Cedric.
Right.
Sister, are you ready to talk?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, good. I didn't want to rush you. Gosh, she's got you have just such a good-looking convent behind you. That's wonderful.
Thank you. It's my personal study.
It's wonderfully adorned. You know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the fact that you're in the Catholic Church, and not as a true believer of the Catholic Church, but actually as a true believer of the Cainite mythos, in that Cain was the first of the kindred. Even though he was the first murderer, he was also the first vampire. And so within your church, you like the book because it's almost right.
Artistic licensing. I get it.
Exactly. The one that you met a couple of nights ago, Lilith, believes something completely different than you. She believes in a original proto-creation from God. God didn't create Adam first. God created Lilith first, but he was dissatisfied, and he shelved that project and began again with Adam and Eve, so that when Cain ventured out into the land of Nod, what he ran into was the heritage, the lineage of Lilith. It's a fundamental difference between you two, but I can't say that you might want to broach the subject with her, but depending on how fervent you are in your belief, you might want to tell her she's wrong.
Is it though? I thought I was more of a follower of Karna at that point, and she doesn't like the patriarchal vampire society either.
No, she does not like the patriarchal side of that. So, being a Karna worshiper, do you acknowledge her? How do you feel about the Lilith myth then?
They have it right for the pain part. I think that's why I'm more open to discussing with her, because she does involve herself in pain and learning and broadening her horizons, and that's what I do.
Oh, interesting. Well, excellent. It looks like you two have more to talk about than I thought you did. When you go down to your chapel this evening, and almost forgot, give me a rouse check, Lilith, because you woke this evening too.
Yeah, dang it. I was kind of hoping.
How do you let me forget that? Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
Great. Now I'm going to be hungry.
Let's see how you do.
So, rouse.
Lilith rolled a 7, so 7 is a pass, and you're all good. I should.
There you go. You rolled an 8. You're even better.
The 1 always freaks me out, and I forget that's just a success, not, a 1.
Yes, it's just a pass-fail on your rouse check. See if you get any hungrier when you wake, and that's not usually a problem. It's just something you may want to take care of if you do. But for both of you, you seem fine. When you go down to your chapel, however, sister, yes, there you go. Abraham Dusable is there. He would like to ask you a favor. He has K. Marshall Ellis with him. He has broken the blood bond with this crazy guy who has actually calmed down a bit. He seems a lot more staid, a lot more focused. He's not nearly as wild and frantic. His arms aren't bound, and he's just sitting patiently waiting for Disabled to finish talking with you. But he says, I have broken the blood bond, but I have nowhere to keep him. If I put him in the chantry, they shall find him. They will come looking for him. I can't have the anarchs raiding my chantry. Not again.
You don't expect me to keep him in the convent, do you?
Well, I was thinking you have dormitories, you have places to keep him. It would be quiet. No one would suspect.
Him. It's a him.
Well, there's a seminary next door. Maybe you put him in some priest robes. You put him over there and lock him in a room. Would that be possible?
How stable is he?
Oh, he is fine. He is fine. He is all working now. He's taking notes and writing new things. He has an amazing mind.
And how often is he going to crave your assistance?
What? I have just barely begun to even speak of him in these ways. I've only broken the bond, so...
No replacement?
Not yet. I mean, yes, I need him to trust me as much as I trust him. So, yes, I am going to do this. But no, I have not done it yet.
This is a favor.
It is a little one, yes?
It's still a favor.
Then so be it. I owe you a small boon. And I thank you.
Okay. Was that so hard?
It is not. It is not. I think what K. Marshall has for us will be very, very good for everyone.
Now that he's a little more capable of speaking without twitching, I think I'm interested in hearing what he has to say.
You are free to talk to him. I am going to leave him in your care, however, and make an exit for myself.
Okay.
DuSable will leave you. Yes, bye-bye. But he'll leave K. Marshall Ellis behind, and K. Marshall is just sitting in one of the pews, respectfully. He doesn't seem very religious himself, but he's not twitchy. He's not drooling. He's not spitting. He's not frantic in any way.
Is he clean?
He is.
Oh, okay.
He's fine. He's wearing his just white shirt and slacks. He seems perfectly content.
So I'll approach him. Do you know what's happening right now?
I mean, yeah, I know what's happening. It's, I talked to DuSable. I'm out of California. I mean, thank God for that. Yeah. So, he said I could have maybe a place to stay, just hang out, maybe write some notes.
I'll probably put you, as much as I want to put you in the seminary, I need to have you close by to, as a favor, keep an eye on you, make sure nothing happens to you. You understand, right?
Yeah. Them guys from California, they'll come looking. They will come looking.
How many? Will this be a major problem or a minor problem for future me to worry about?
Look, I don't know. I was working for a baron, and we got to some breakthroughs. So who knows? I don't think he knows where I am, but who knows?
Okay, very well then. So follow me if you would like.
He does. He's got even a little bag with him, which you assume is just, shaving kit, that kind of thing.
Overnight bag.
He's human. He hasn't been embraced. He hasn't been ghouled. He's just been broken of his blood bond to a West Coast baron. And he seems lucid. He seems pretty smart. He seems with it.
Do I smell that?
How do you mean, resonance-wise?
Yeah.
Humans don't have resonances.
Okay.
Specifically like that. It's well, I mean, they do. His resonance is very placid at the moment. He's very go with the flow.
I look back over my shoulder and I just tell him, don't cut yourself shaving. And I continue to lead him down a hallway, only because I, as a player character, thought he was vampired, embraced, like just freshly, and we were going to break the bond. Him being human, I didn't catch that. My bad.
Oh,
That was on me.
He was bonded to a vampire, and by the blood, which is why he needed DuSable's help. But he's still human at this point.
Okay. So I lead him off, and basically a little closer to my own set of sanctuary areas, but probably going to leave him in my library.
Oh, nice. I love your background.
So I'm like, this is my personal library. No one is allowed in or out here but me. There is a lock, which I have the only key to. You should be safe here. There is a nook for you to sleep in, or the couch. Just don't make too much of a mess. And behave.
Thank you. I appreciate this. This is very, very, very generous of you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You can leave. Yeah, I was going to say, you could leave him there. He will stay there. He's not looking to run. What he's looking to do is probably just spread out with a bunch of papers and writes ideas out of his mind and get them out.
She locks the door behind her. She's like, and then she goes back. You
will get a similar message that the others received, and that is from Cedric asking if you can join him at Morton's Steakhouse. There's a meeting with the sheriff concerning the events of the previous 2 nights.
I'll go. At what time?
It's a midnight meeting. You've got time to get there. But the question, I think, is like we ran into last time. Are you going to go to Morton's in a full habit?
No, I learned my lesson last time. That was a little awkward. So no, I will probably, before I head out, I will probably change.
you going to street close it, or are you just going to kind of informal nun? Because there's different ways of.
I'm going to
bringing-
leave the convent wearing this in the van and then pull a high school girl and probably change in the van.
We have even more in common.
We do. Isn't it great? Oh, one moment.
How about that? That's the best thing I've seen so far. All right. Then taking the church van, I suspect you can be at that meeting at midnight. Not a problem.
Yes.
Then let me pause there and let me go over to Arthur Vallon. Arthur, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
You are waking in the your Lion's Den boxing gym. I have your. This is wonderful. I have your haven.
How's it, yeah, where
And I
dreams
also-
go to die, according to Julian.
But I also have your picture, your Van Gogh style self portrait, and also Napoleon, because I think the world needs to see Napoleon.
No, of course.
Where?
Let's be honest. He's the real star here.
Yay.
There you go. I was so pleased to have put him in there. Over the previous evening, you were delivered a package. It was a note from Julian White thanking you for good to meet you, that kind of thing, and a human thigh bone for Napoleon, which is such a delicacy. I'm sure he appreciated that.
Next time I see him, I'll make sure that if there's no brown on his nose, huh? And just throw Napoleon the femur. It was a femur or a thigh bone?
Well, yeah, the thigh bone, I guess.
Yeah.
Isn't that the femur?
Yeah, was full ball joint and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
maybe a little cartilage tendrils hanging on there. But once you get into that marrow too, that's
Oh yeah. Yep. Delicious.
it's like you said, a little disturbing that Julian is taking an interest in you. He now knows that this is your haven. He's got a pretty good eye for gifts. And you hear rumors that he's maybe looking a little bit further into your background.
Hmm.
He's probably just nosy, but you do hide some of your holdings and how you make your money.
Some of my enterprise is a bit too free market for even American capitalism.
But
But alas,
just be aware your contacts are telling you that there's some people asking questions about stuff. However you might feel about that.
being the paranoid type, Arthur is definitely that little like nibbling discomfort between the shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Is he's
You know it right
he's
there.
got some deep-seated paranoia, and he's an older dog, and it's harder to teach him new tricks, or rather unlearn bad habits.
Yes,
But
however
still.
way you want to frame those.
Yeah,
Same thing. Cedric had sent you a message that your presence at Morton's Steakhouse would be requested. The sheriff would like to talk to you about the incidents of the previous 2 nights ago. The stuff you learned in Gary.
mention that
It's
the
a-
sheriff would definitely pique Arthur's interest, since that he wants that job.
Oh, you want the sheriff job?
He is a child. He has no idea what he's doing. When the man with experience.
This is a valid complaint among the local kindred. Not only that he looks young, but he doesn't really have the experience. There are murders that are happening around town, not to kindred. Those are usually, you could tell who went up against who. There's but others that are other humans that are being killed that shouldn't be being killed by Kindred. These murders are not being solved. And that is one of the big complaints to his sheriff, Damien. He's just not qualified for the job. And looking young doesn't help him. And having a terrible band really doesn't help him.
Is that music? Listening to that music sample, I'm pretty sure at least one organ failed.
You hung up on me a little bit. What was that?
Listening to the music sample, I'm pretty sure at least one of my organs failed. It was, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah, you weren't using your liver for much anyway, but man, it's dead now.
Yeah. But steakhouse. I miss a good ribeye. Mon. But I will put Napoleon's service dog collar on, and at least maybe I'll get him something. Someone can at least enjoy it.
Yeah, your dog, while is bound to you, and has additional abilities because of being just taking on your vitae, is still a regular dog, right? Is not a unlifed dog.
Yes, it doesn't.
He's still living. He's just ghouled. I want to be clear.
He's still. Any kind of fine print that would apply to ghouls would apply to him as well.
Okay, but he can eat actual food. He can drink actual water. So,
yes,
yeah.
Just so long as he gets a certain dosage of my vitae to keep him going, he keeps on trucking.
Very similar to how K. Marshall Ellis was. He's still human, but
my dog isn't a junkie, obviously.
But you know.
Only a junkie for you.
No, he's a good boy. Yeah,
he's a good boy.
Just no licking on the face, not because it's rude, but because you smell like the last person you ate.
Arthur, give me a rouse check as you wake this evening.
What a segue! All right, that is a 1.
That is a 1.
Yep.
That is a sign that you are hungry, my friend.
Wait. He wrote. Oh, never mind. It's not on here for me.
No, he's rolling a live die, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's
yes.
right.
Actually rolling dice, which I like too. But this way, we're all just calling out our rolls so that we know what we got.
Yeah.
And trust. Yourself. What's up?
And as Julian's player knows, Roll20 has a horrendous aptitude for making all of my rolls stay within
Roll20
the 3 or lower range.
Roll20 and Storm don't work out except if he's GM and it's in the player's favor.
Same here. The game on Wednesday night between me and Dylan, we rolled 5 1s in a row.
This
3 from
may
him,
be
2 from me, all in a row.
This may be the kind of facsimiles of old or classic World of Darkness, but being the 1 on a 1d10, it's a botch. Or would that make my hunger exponentially more severe, or it's just normal?
You can't really critically fail or critically succeed on your hunger. It's just a straight pass or fail.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not like if you get a 1, you go up 2 dots in hunger. No, it's you're just a little hungrier. You can take care of that before the meeting. Running up to the rack is not too far for you. I did put your location on the map. Let me show that to you.
Yeah, that only affects female vampires. We wake up hangry.
Yeah, if you zoom in a bit, you'll see that the Lion's Den gym is in West Town, and the rack is just a little northwest of you by a few blocks.
Yeah. Well, if Napoleon's going to be getting a nice ribeye, I might as well be able to slake my hunger as well. So,
You have that wonderful predator type of the alley cat, don't you?
I do, yes.
It's one of my favorites. If you're going to go over to the Rack, over to that area just north of Wicker Park in Bucktown.
Yeah, he'll drive up in it in his simple blacked out Land Rover, and then take Napoleon for a walk.
Your predator type roll is a strength brawl, so hit brawl and add strength if you're rolling it from roll 20. That's for anybody. If you're rolling it for real dice, just add your strength and your brawl together. Substitute 2 of your hunger dice.
Okay.
And just successes and failures.
That is 8, 8, 7, and 1. So that's 2 successes.
No, I thought you said 8, 8, 7.
Don't one subtract.
No,
or is
no.
that still me thinking?
Don't subtract.
Then that is. Then that is. All right.
We want
this is far more forgiving. Then that is 3 successes.
3 successes.
That is far more forgiving than what I'm used to. 3, yeah.
Right. You're only going to fail the roll if you get more failures than successes. But if you succeed the roll, then you succeed the roll. Your hunger dice will determine if you succeed critically or not. If you get 2 10s there, then that'll be a big mess up. But don't subtract the ones against it, or.
And that was a 4 and a 1 on the hunger die.
Okay. Since you succeeded on the roll, it's fine. If you had failed the roll and gotten the 1 and the 4 on the hunger die, then that might be a critical failure. But it's not, because you succeeded on the roll. So 3 successes is a little bit short of the threshold of 4, where you make it easy. It's taking you a little bit longer tonight to find just the right circumstance, the right person, the right alleyway, the right bit of shadow. The dog is helping. Napoleon's, walking through the neighborhood. He keeps an eye out. He knows how this goes down. So you will find somebody, but you're going to be pushing it for time, getting back into the city to make it to Mortons. You can slake your hunger. Right. How much hunger do you want to slake?
I've got the 2 dots, so I'll just bring myself back down to 1.
Down to 1 dot means you're leaving your victim alive. Do you how do you victims at the end, as if they've been mugged?
Yeah. It's like mugged and or mauled. And like where more or less wherever I bite them. It's if I leave them alive, then I don't need to call waste management. Also, Napoleon just do like an Indian burn with his mouth and just kind of leave it ragged, so there's no evidence of the vampiric kind of bite that might.
The good news there is you can heal those bite wounds with a little bit of your vitae just pressed up against those wounds. They will go away, so you can hide the evidence that you've been there. But usually, you have to kind of create a narrative for your victim. If you beat him up a little, he'll think he's been mugged.
No,
that's where you use. But if you're not going to kill him, then you have to
take the bat from his trunk and go to town a little.
It is better than killing somebody in the camarilla.
Yeah,
but
so
like I said,
fists deal ag damage. I'll use the bat.
Again, trying not to kill him, just trying to bruise him.
Yeah. It's maybe like some like little hairline fractures here and there, but nothing that's gonna, it's gonna leave him walking like Igor for the rest of his life.
There you go. Then that's a good way to leave him, because he's not at all concerned about whether or not he was just fed on by a vampire. He's just been beaten the crap out of in the wicked.
And I'll I'll liberate the paper contents of his wallet as well, just to really seal the deal.
He's got like 4.
I'm sorry.
This,
With that, yeah, let's hightail it to the steakhouse.
yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna leave you with just barely enough time to get there. You'll probably be the last to arrive with your dog, service animal on him.
Fashionably late.
Sister, you seem like you've changed. Are you muted?
Sorry, yes. But I did. It was a lot more comfortable.
And now you're riding in a car. These backgrounds are getting better and better.
I don't have a steakhouse though. Darn it.
Yet.
Don't worry about the steakhouse. I think I can handle that for you.
Okay.
The steakhouse is down towards just the downtown Chicago, just on the other side of the river from where the main loop is. It's got a beautiful view. I can mark it a little bit on your map here. I can give you a little ping. It's like right there. And eventually I'll put a marking that's where Morton's Steakhouse is. Who's going to get there first?
I think Julian left first, right?
Probably Julian and or sister.
Yeah, it's close to which one of you gets there first, Julian or you?
You pro drive to break traffic laws.
Let's say you get roughly the same time.
Does this place have food for me?
They do not serve what you consider food.
Right.
The same kind of restaurant.
Okay.
Did you want to work on your hunger before you got there?
I probably should. Well, I have 2 dots of hunger, right? Out of 5?
Right.
Yeah, a quick bite to eat. I'm about to enter negotiations. Just a quick snack would be fine.
Let me get you back here then.
I would like to retcon then and have fed from my herd before we left.
Yeah.
Because that's I don't trust you.
Yeah, that's what I want to do as well.
Sister, you didn't get any hungrier, so you woke with just 1 dot of hunger this evening.
Oh, so that's okay. I'm not going to just.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
For you to
it's harder to go down to 0.
Yeah, for you to slake a dot of hunger, your last dot of hunger, you would have to kill somebody, and I don't think you want to kill somebody in your herd.
No.
But Julian got hungrier when he woke this evening, so he's at 2 dots.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, you can.
Yeah, I'm following Malenray. I don't trust you, so I just want to top that off. Listen, I'm reading the environment. Just with my herd before I go.
Then you have your dresser man who will willingly submit to you and allow you to slake 1 dot of your hunger.
Okay.
What is your normal predator type, though?
Scene queen.
Scene queen. Oh, this would actually qualify. You can use your, I believe it's presence? Manipulation, persuasion. Is that scene queen?
Let's see.
All right, bye. Have a good day.
Blood and X.
You got your shoes on?
Manipulation and persuasion.
Yeah.
Bye.
Is that what scene queen comes down to for a roll?
I believe so. It doesn't.
It sounds right, so let's go with it.
Yeah, on page 308 it says those 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, manipulation, persuasion. So roll your your persuasion, add your manipulation. Your threshold is much easier because you're at home with your herd.
Uh-oh. Oh, wait, never mind.
Was that right?
Yeah, you didn't. It's Again,
I clicked on Predator. Was that what I was supposed to do?
I don't know. Where did you find that on your
Un-
sheet?
under Blood and XP.
Oh. No, I was going to say go right to your and that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he was saying rolling from the traits and skills as opposed
Oh,
to
But that'll work if he has it set up right. Let me
yeah.
look.
I have manipulation and persuasion.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
have manipulation and subterfuge for that. So
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking you were just going from the original, the front page of the sheet with just clicking persuasion and manipulation.
Persuasion.
One dot, it's not a fail because you can't fail to feed, but it can take you longer. You can get distracted easier. So if you're feeding before you leave your home, the sister is probably going to arrive first because this is going to take you a little. It's just taking you a little while to decide what you want to wear, what you want. Oh, and then you go in for a bite, but then you're like, hang on a second, let me look at this.
Which I blame on him.
You're easily distracted, and that eventually you'll get around to feeding. But for right now, it's you're all wishy-washy. Sister, if you're feeding from your herd, same thing. You could roll your manipulation subterfuge. Is that
no,
yours?
we said we weren't going to do that because I would have to kill someone. Remember before you went.
Okay,
over
yeah,
to-
that's right.
yeah.
You only have the one dot. But when you do go to feed, that is your preferred feeding type. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't feed if you roll low. It's just the ease with which you're able to find somebody to feed upon.
Mhm.
Then, if that catches us up, let's go to the steakhouse. See Calhoun.
So hungry now.
Right? He keeps talking about food.
I crave steak.
All right. Throw a little.
All the background people talking in the restaurant.
I know, it's throwing me off. I didn't really understand what was going on.
Well, I get a little ambiance happening.
No, that worked, but
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
I can turn it down if it's too loud.
I think it's fine.
Morton's
about to
Steakhouse. When we get there late at night, is not. It's half mortal, half kindred, but the kindred are hiding themselves from the mortals. They're obfuscated. They're changing their appearance. They're putting on blush of life. This is not an Elysium where you are free to reveal yourself. This is a mix. It's an unusual restaurant. Stays open 24 hours. Serves food all day and all night long. In the back, past this beautiful bar, Cedric Calhoun, dapper as always, is sitting in a dark corner with his hat pulled down low and his nice suit. He's sitting in front of a typewriter, an old school manual typewriter that he's just clickety clackety at for a little while. He waves you over. Come on over here, kids. And sister, since you're first, you'll be the first one to see Cedric in the back. He waves you over.
I make my way over.
Sister, look at you.
Hi,
All,
Cedric.
dressed up for a night out on the town. Wonderful. He actually has an uneaten plate of food in front of him, just for appearance's sake.
Mhm.
And he says, the others will be joining us shortly, but anything I can get for you?
No, I ate before I came here, but thank you.
For the rest of you, Sable had offered you all a gift. You will find that described in the handouts, wherever I put it. I think I opened it up to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's just a little vial worth of his vitae. You risk beginning a blood bond with him if you ever use it, but you get some amazing abilities and celerity if you do.
I gave mine away.
You did give yours away. And Narvin is going to hand it back to you at some point and say, she said you could keep it.
Wow. Thank you.
Puts it in his shirt.
Did I just lose my audio here? I like my lively cafe.
Oh, your audio for the cafe?
Yeah, hang on. I'll turn it back on.
It's still throwing me off. It sounds like there's people around me, truthfully.
It's supposed to sound like there's people around you.
I almost went over to tell my neighbors to shut up, but I'm glad it was realized
like,
it was ambiance.
Yeah.
Awesome that it's working. I can turn it down a little bit if it's too much. Arthur, you're probably next to arrive. Again, same thing. You'll see Cedric sitting in the back in front of a typewriter next to a rare steak. He's clicking away, and there's a woman sitting next to him. You don't immediately recognize her until you get closer, and you realize that it's Sister Vindicta out of her habit. So welcome. Come on over.
Who's coming in again? Sorry.
That was Arthur.
Arthur.
Oh, okay.
Is he there?
Yep.
Is he muted, or am I muted to him? Arthur.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You just walked in.
Okay. That was I roboted then.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. Yeah, so you walk in, and Napoleon with his service animal, the maitre d' roll his eyes, but he can't stop you.
Excuse you, I have a condition that must be tended to. I don't appreciate being treated this way.
But Cedric's in the back in a dark corner. He waves you over. He's like, "Get over here! Get over here!"
He's just like, as he leaves the clerk behind, he's just gonna have like cat-like smile. Just enjoy the person's discomfort. It's the small joys.
It's supposed to be a really nice high-end restaurant.
There's really a fluffy dog here.
It's a very nice high-end canine. They don't just breed these things.
When you come over to the table and sit down, it seems that Cedric had already anticipated, and he just slides the steak off the tray and drops it on the floor, accidentally.
My friend, you are a saint and a scholar. Napoleon.
I do what I can. So we're just waiting on the other two from the other night, and then Sheriff Damien's going to come here. Now, as you could suspect, you guys stumbled onto something, and now you're like waist deep in it. So I think the prince wants to keep using you in order to keep this all quiet, on the DL, as the kids say. And Lilith, let's make you appear next, because the L is very fast. The downtown elevated loop, once you get on there, zips you right around, drops you off on the opposite side of the river, but once you cross the bridge, Mortons is right there.
Right. And, I mean, I'd be all decked out walking into the restaurant.
This is a good restaurant to look good in. People know.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, when you walk in, the maitre d' is actually happy to see you, as opposed to this damn dog that just went by. And you'll see the same thing. He's in the back. He's in front of a typewriter. There's a couple of people with him already, and a dog.
So I would just kind of turn to the maitre d' and say, "Oh, I see my table back there. I'll take myself back there," and then go ahead and go back.
Yeah, he watches.
Yeah. And I would order probably a fancy glass of wine and probably some sort of appetizer, knowing I can't consume any of it, but I would still
No,
order
but it always looks good when there's food on the table, as opposed to food on the floor when you see a lapping up a steak.
Yeah. And I mean, I would feign disgust. I wouldn't actually really feel that way, but I would feign it.
Certainly. Oh, sorry, prissy. Thank you for coming, though. Appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Wouldn't expect Julian to be late, but well, we're waiting on him. And after a few minutes, Julian will finally show up. Not the Bentley, maybe the Maybach. Definitely got
Yeah.
the
Maybe
Nar-
I was feeling eco. We took the Tesla.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Then Narvin will drive you, and he'll actually wait with the car, but you can go inside and have your conversation.
So sorry, I'm late. Traffic. It's crazy.
Hey, shadowy guy, come on over and sit down and maybe bring in some darkness, because we could use some quiet, you think?
Of course. I'll do whatever I can to help, and I will kind of pull the shadows. You'll see them almost drip down from the tablecloths around us and under the chairs of the people sitting, and it will just get a little bit dimmer.
It's good to hide this group. You're famous. The sister, she's out of her habit, so it takes you a minute. And Calhoun, he's like, hang on a second, hang on. He's listening to something that you can't hear, and then he's just typing at a typewriter. Type, 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 type. Click, click. And then he's like, yeah, good. What you get is he's listening to a conversation from across the room using his auspex. He's narrowing in or zoning in on somebody. And this is how he gets his news. This is how he breaks stories for the paper. This is how his mask identity as a reporter is successful. He steals it by hanging out at Morton's late at night, listening to conversations from across the room.
Cheeky bugger.
Quite genius.
It's evident that he's using disciplines to gather information in this way.
You can't hear what he just typed, so you have to assume, that he's heightening his senses in order to pick it up.
And at that point,
and I was going to say, even if you did it too, you might be able to hear the rest of the conversations. But this is a pretty packed restaurant, and it's going to be hard to know which one he's listening to.
It's just solely just judging Calhoun. Not judging's appropriate enough, but but like focusing on Calhoun, seeing what he's doing, and then Arthur's just going to do the. Okay, this is how it is. So, and he's just going to be his observant self.
Cool. So Calhoun will tell you, like he told the others, you guys accidentally stepped into it, and now you know things that, should be kept quiet. I think the prince wants to continue using your services, and that's why Damien had asked me to gather you here tonight. In a little while, Damien will walk in. He's as scrawny as promised. He's tall, he's lanky, he's kind of has a little bit of a high-pitched voice. He's definitely wearing his baby chorus t-shirt. He doesn't like to talk much. He just comes in and he sits down at the table and he's like, all right, since you know about the Lasombra coming to town, we need your help. And he slides a manila envelope in front of you. There's 4 phones, he tells you. 1 use each. They're just burners. You use the phone, you'll get a hold of one of my people. One of my people can help you with whatever you need. But we think that we need to, pave the road if the Lasombra come into town. And if you open the package, you'll see a dossier on 3 different Kindred here in town. Let me open these up for you.
I kind of glance over at Julian when they start talking about the Lasombra. She's like, oh, okay.
Golly.
Yes. So Charles Crook Dawson, Flyboy Noah Gruel, and the Anarch known as Genghis.
Okay.
There you go. You guys should have dossiers on all of them.
There we go. Yeah.
You got 4 burner phones and 3 people to deal with. Now, you're not killing anybody, nothing like that. You just, we don't want them messing around with this delegation. We don't know why they're coming, but they've got our protection, the prince's protection. So these 3, you don't let them interfere. You got it?
Mm,
I'm a little confused. I thought that there were 4 individuals heading to the city.
Oh no. These aren't the Gary coterie people. These ain't we haven't found them.
So what is this?
They're another problem, believe me. But these are the locals that are going to cause problems, and the prince doesn't want the locals to cause problems. You know what I mean?
Persona non grata.
Yeah. They all live here, but the prince doesn't want them, messing. Each of them might, for their own reasons, want to like get involved. Don't let them. That's the message.
but no killing.
No, don't kill them. Don't kill them. Just make sure that they're going to leave the Sombra alone.
Do we know how long the La Sombra are visiting us for?
We don't know that, but they'll be here soon.
And why do we need them alive? Why?
What do you mean? They live here. They're your people. They're Camarilla, most of them. I mean, Genghis isn't, but he's one of the 10.
Right. But if they're attempting to interfere with
No.
business.
No, you misunderstand. Don't misunderstand. They haven't done anything, but they are the ones who might. So just
And so if they do,
nip it. I want you to nip it. You go and you nip it. You say, don't do that. And you make them a deal. You intimidate them. You do whatever you got to do, but you make sure that they don't do that. That's it. And you got 4 phones, and that's it. You got 4 phones in 2 nights. So look them over and figure it out.
and so if we, negotiating from a position of weakness is not something that I like to do. So I take it that if we are going to offer these people deals, we have the support of Camarilla for whatever we might want to offer them.
Yeah, within reason, but you only got 4 phones. You can get that with a call if you need it, whatever it is. But you only got 4 calls. You use a burner, you throw it away. That's how we work.
Understood.
Now, Damien doesn't want to hang out. People look at him weird, especially when there's a 14-year-old in a bar at midnight. So he's going to, just excuse himself and leave.
Oh, Damien, by the way, I heard some of your band's music, and rumor has it that one of my connections in the movie business maybe might be interested.
Are you making fun of me?
I'm not. I don't do that.
He really does have the contacts, Damien.
Yeah, I know who he is. I'm just, a lot of people, they take shots at the music, they don't know I'm like, an artist. All right.
Most artists aren't respected during their lifetimes. Luckily, you're
Already
not.
dead?
Exactly, sister. So you have all the time to build that clout.
Yeah, all right. I got a manager. And I'll see. Yeah, you get a deal going. I'll sign off on it.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. He walks away a little jauntier than before. Like, huh? Maybe somebody does appreciate my music. If you look at the files that you were given, you'll see three people: Charles Crook Dawson, Flyboy Noah Gruel, and the anarch known as Genghis. Now, in Chicago, the Bruja split, much like the Tremere had split. They had an ideological falling out after the death of Loden, and many, many Bruja left the city. The anarchs took them in because they were a more natural fit. But Genghis has been here, well, most of his own life. He'd been here from before the time of the Troubles. And while he is an anarch, he is one of the 10 anarchs that Jackson allows to live in the city, to keep a haven here, and to keep a bit of influence here. Genghis tries to turn Kindred over to their way of thinking. That's his gift. He likes to talk about it. He likes to sell people on it. Flyboy runs the airport. Flyboy, in a very short amount of time, was able to appear in Chicago, ingratiate himself among some of the higher up Kindred, and next thing you know, he had a job out at O'Hare. He moves up the ranks in that job, and now he's one of the executive directors of freight and transport through the airport. So he basically controls O'Hare. A lot of Kindred are upset about that. Flyboy's new. Flyboy doesn't deserve to have this huge responsibility, especially when hardly anybody here knows him. He's not from here. Nobody knows his sire. He was found illegally feeding and then Portia thought she would stand up for him, vouch for him in the Camarilla. And he's been here ever since.
And I'm assuming Portia is my Portia as well.
Yeah, same Portia. Yeah. She likes helping people.
Yeah.
She likes helping the disenfranchised, the ones that are down on their luck. And she found one in Flyboy. I think she regrets it because Flyboy runs the airport like his own personal domain.
Okay.
While Genghis is definitely the one that wants to recruit any La Sombra coming to town for the anarchs rather than the Camarilla, even if they're refugees, he wants them. Flyboy may not even let him through the airport. It depends on his point of view. Nobody knows. But if they're coming through O'Hare, he runs O'Hare, and you're going to need to grease those wheels to make them get through easily. Crook. Crook is just a crazy ass nos. He's got a bunch of dive bars that he runs as a franchise. He doesn't care much about the politics of the city, but if he gets bored and he hears a rumor, he's very likely just to come out and fuck with people. And that's what the worry here is about him. That Crook, for no reason whatsoever, would just try to burn this entire relationship down. Just because he thought it would be fun. So there you are. Those are your three objectives. Neutralize these threats before they become threats. Allow the La Sombra to enter town without having any of these three be a problem.
So I think I should definitely be the one to talk to Flyboy.
That's what I was thinking. Although,
interestingly, while as much as you want to go to the airport, you have to remember the airport is heavily surveilled. There are video cameras and sensor equipment everywhere that you don't respond well to.
Right.
This-
I don't show up on them, right?
You flicker and you're hazy. But the problem is when you're in a surveillance place where people are actively watching this kind of stuff, they notice you as flickering.
And it breaks the masquerade.
I see.
Yes.
Um,
Same thing you do for your show. You can rouse your beast and defy your clan Bane for a short time. But it's the same thing. It's 2 extra rouse checks. You risk 2 dots of hunger to do it.
Although at the same time, I think 2 alpha males trying to talk, especially in another person's territory, would probably not be a good idea.
Oh, I have nothing to prove.
Oh, I know you probably don't, but
I agree with you. Maybe I definitely don't know about Genghis.
I think he might be someone who I can talk to. I think that I'd be able to get his understanding.
Actually, yeah. So Genghis is the one who.
He's an Anarch Bruja leader.
Yeah.
Allowed to stay in Camarilla territory because he is one of the 10 Anarchs allowed in the city.
I would want to talk to him too. I think.
I think Julian wants to talk to everybody. I guess.
No, I don't want to talk to Charles.
Crook?
Yeah. There's nothing.
I know there's 3 of them. Instead of trying to go 1-on-1, shouldn't we just go maybe 2 by 2?
Oh yeah, I was definitely not suggesting that I go by myself.
More for protection's sake. And I wouldn't mind speaking to Charles.
Crook is an interesting dude. Crook is a kind of a slumlord in the bar world. He owns dive bars, but he doesn't just own his own dive bars. In every neighborhood where there's a Crook's Lounge, there is another dive bar that's worse than Crook's Lounge. And he invests in that as well, just to make sure that his is not the only bar in any neighborhood. So Crook, he works well on the low end, but he knows his shit business-wise.
I mean, there's always the other option that we all go and just learn to work as a unit that I guess we now are.
You're such an intriguing unit.
Possibly for Noah, just show up not really in force, but as a team. I think I agree with, I forgot Grace's name, sorry. Lilith. Wow, weird. That wasn't a slight. I did not just pull a Mariah Carey, okay? Thank you. I don't know her. No, I do think Lilith can tame the beast. Long enough to speak to him, of course.
Yeah.
But I also don't want you going by yourself. I'm so worried.
Well, sister, I mean, you're dressed to the nines right now. I'm sure the 2 of you could work together to do that.
And let's talk geography a little bit. You are downtown, basically, just on the north side of the downtown corridor. Crook is on the north side of Chicago. He has bars in different neighborhoods, but right now his main bar is north of Wrigley Field. So it would be in the north end of town. Not the furthest away. Flyboy is probably the furthest away at O'Hare.
Right.
But O'Hare also is directly accessible by freeway. Crook, you'd have to take some surface streets to get up to. Genghis is usually in this downtown area. He has a Gold Coast mansion because he was rich in his mortal life, and he can often be found at a club called the Mohawk. Not quite as dingy as one of Crook's clubs, but it's bar bands and that kind of thing.
And what about you, mon ami?
I'm assuming everything on the handouts, it's more or less the contents of the dossiers we've received.
Yeah, that's exactly that. You could anything that's now opened up to you in that on those sheets. That's all information that you now have.
Yeah. It's like going through like a deck of cards. This they all have their own eccentricities. I might be able to coerce Crook with investments of my own. We both seem to be men who have enjoyed fine food and drink during our time amongst the living, and perhaps a business venture, while perhaps not as extravagant as with you, Julian. It is more down to earth and befitting his proclivities.
Oh, I definitely think that you might be right about that.
Nothing else, I can invite him over for extensive poker nights, and it'll keep him entertained and keep the fires out.
Jawohl.
I agree with that.
Nein, das bricht nicht.
I think we need to stay as a group. I think we need to go. Let's go. We'll visit one after the other.
Well, the storyteller, what is the current time?
You met at midnight. It was not a long meeting, so let's say 12:30, and you have a good 6 hours before the sun will start to peek its head over the horizon.
But we have 2 full nights to
You
manage
do.
these 3. Okay.
I was about to say Sheriff Beaver did say we have 2 days, yes.
And
Wait.
it's Wednesday?
It is Wednesday. Your show is on Friday, so next session or so we'll probably get to that.
Yeah. Well, we should probably move somewhere.
Let's start with Genghis. He's closest. He
Yeah.
would be a good person to get our feet wet with.
Each of you can take one burner phone from the package. That was how it was intended. It's a resource for you. Whatever you might need, you have a burner phone to get it from one of Damien's people.
But there are 4 phones.
4 phones. One use only. Once they're used, you toss it away.
Okay.
I grab my phone. I'm like, Marshall Ellis probably has the right idea. And I put in my little handbag.
I suppose I would do the same with a lot less cryptic of a comment.
Call me out on it. God.
I mean, I would definitely raise an eyebrow to that, but I wouldn't necessarily question. It's rude to question someone.
How is our twitchy friend, by the way?
Less twitchy, actually. And soon to be wearing a habit. Kidding. I'm kidding. But he is at the convent doing another little favor for Dusable. Isn't that nice of me?
It's funny how one rolls into the other, isn't it?
Mm.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say that you and him have...
Careful.
a friendship.
Wait, Ellis or Dusable?
Yes?
It's complicated.
Interesting.
We would doubt nothing less, or we would expect nothing less.
Genghis is the closest potential of these 3. His Gold Coast mansion is close, a little bit east towards the lake, and the club he hangs out in is also close, which is a downtown bar.
Okay, let's do it.
Which one do you want to go to first?
of course you're gonna go for the one I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. Just like,
And-
oh god.
Chinggis is closest,
Mm-hmm.
and being if the whispers in the dossier are all correct, he might be a bit more stubborn and harder to reason with.
Whispers are rumors.
Mhm,
So, but the stuff above that is what you know of him for sure.
mhm. Okay, so I'm reading a proud brouhaha, which
Do you see the first whisper?
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't
Okay,
want to talk
just
to him.
a rumor.
I like the last one though. His real name is Rupert,
Rupert Levine.
and he's on the lookout for someone who can fabricate a new mask for him.
He is.
Well, one thing I always find useful is don't negotiate against yourself. I say we just go and listen to old Genghis and see what he needs.
Genghis is getting to that point where his age and his appearance are starting to deviate. I mean, he looks good, but
Too good.
they realize that's not a 50-year-old anymore.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen some of these 50-year-olds who work out? Just like Zaddy. Anyway.
Anyways.
Sister.
I think The Rock is my age.
That was all out of character, people.
Okay, so if we're going to go, I'll say, you're more than welcome to ride with me.
You took the Tesla.
Yeah, like the SUV
Was
one.
it an SUV?
Yeah.
I
This
mean,
one.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Arthur brought his dog. Are you going to let that dog in your?
He's not the one who cleans it.
Yeah, I'll just get a new one.
This is true.
Just kidding. I do have my own car.
He does. He does.
Yeah. I have
If you want to stay together, you can stay together. But yeah,
Just
there you
it'll be like the Oregon Trail, which is caravan and hopefully no dysentery.
go. Have you ever made it through that game?
Nope.
Yeah, I have a Model X. Nobody's ever made it through Oregon Trail.
It's always dysentery and hunting accidents.
Yeah.
Game over.
I drown in the river all the time.
I think I played that once.
That's all
And
you
that's
need.
it. No, but I actually wanted to try it again, but sharing computers back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can caravan.
Okay.
Then the choice is the Mohawk Club or the Gold Coast Mansion.
I'm for the Gold Hawk. What? I thought it was both. The Gold Coast Mansion.
Just later in the evening, I would assume it being a working man, he is going to be at his place of business.
Right. And it's more professional anyway to call on someone officially. Well, shall we?
I think we shall.
So is it the where'd you decide? The Mohawk?
We're going to the club, I think.
Yeah, we'll be going to the club that he owns. And before we leave, Arthur's just gonna, with his mugging money, just tip the waitress, and hop in the car.
All right.
As I leave,
I do wave goodbye to Cedric. Or not Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric.
Yeah, I was right. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
He's probably just doing this while listening and typing.
Yeah, I got. Oh, this is a good one. Click, 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 click.
Like his ears angled two different ways.
Have I heard anything from my special friend who has somebody...
Narvin, the only thing he said to you tonight is when he gave you back the draft of elegance, she said you could have this.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's good news.
Okay.
He could have kept it, but he got word back that, nah.
All right, I'll say to him, you're going to have to find your own ride. Arthur's driving. I'll say it to Narvin.
It's okay.
Good.
He's got resources too. He'll be
right.
He'll be
yeah. It wasn't an insult. And we can get it.
The Mohawk Club, just corner bar in the downtown area. It's a great place to see the early bar bands. If you wanted to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers back in the 70s, this is a place you could have seen them. You want to see the real club working, hard working rock acts, this is the place to go. Genghis loves this place. Not sure if he owns it or not. But let's go inside. Genghis is there. He sees all of you come in. Doesn't recognize many of you, but is that Julian?
Have I met Genghis before?
You haven't, but he's old money. He's got some, like I say, you don't end up with a Gold Coast mansion without some old money. He's just not interested in what the Camarilla has to offer. That's what you know of him. Okay. It's unusual the prince let him stay, but there it goes.
Genghis, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard so many wonderful things. These are some of my friends, Lilith, Mother Vindicta, and Mr. Valand. Is that how you pronounce it? Arthur Valand. Well,
he'll shake your hand politely. Mm-hmm. He'll shake Lilith's hand politely and say, "You're too pretty for a Toreador."
Oh, don't you know it?
Stop. He'll shake Sister Vindicta's hand or kiss her hand if she offers it that way. And Arthur, a nice manly shake and a little pet onto Napoleon's head. It is no coincidence they sent a La Sombra. I'm sure of it. Speak your piece.
Be that obvious?
I hear rumors. It's true, isn't it? You got your kind coming to town.
My kind?
Your kind. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. And I don't know. I'm not part of the meetings anymore. They stopped inviting me. But I think that some might be coming this way.
Pardon the interruption, Monsieur, but should we perhaps have this conversation somewhere more private?
Oh, I assume that he has it well in hand. This is his place.
Genghis will kind of just chuck over his shoulder, and everybody in the bar stops talking, turns and looks at him. They're all his people here.
Well, I feel safer.
Now, don't get us wrong, Genghis. Some of us are not who they seem. Julian here appears to be a La Sombra, but he may not conform to those ideals.
No, he's been here too long to be a real La Sombra. They wouldn't let him be here if he was a real La Sombra, would they?
And one could say the same for you. The prince is letting you, a Bruja, live here.
What can I say? I've got charms. So here's what I want. I want to talk to them.
Them being.
The La Sombra that come. I know they're on their way. I know they're coming. I don't know what they want, but I want to talk to them.
About what, if I may ask?
If they're refugees, I'm going to offer them a place with the Anarchs. They don't need your city. They need mine.
If they are refugees.
Whatever they might want. I think the Anarchs can offer more, better. They don't need to be coming to the Camarilla hat in hand, tail tucked between their legs.
And on the off chance that they're not refugees, would you still want to speak to them?
That'd be good to know too. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, if your offer is truly superior to the Camarillas, it won't matter if it's the first offer or the second offer.
You want me to make you an offer too? You could get the hell out of this place. You could stop having to live by that fake-ass masquerade. You could let yourself go. You could be the shadows. You could be the beast.
Who says I'm not already?
You could be using those iPads you use. Yeah, I know about you, Julian. You could be using those iPads for real work, for social work. You could be doing it all. There's no blackout with the Anarchs. We use our technology. There's no masquerade rules. There's only one rule. Hide your identity. But everything else is free game. Come on.
And if your identity is starting to fail?
Make a new one. We're immortals.
That gets tougher and tougher as time gets on. I mean, I heard a rumor as well about a certain Levine family.
What do you know about the Levine family?
Very little. I wouldn't presume to claim to be an expert on that, but I do know that being part of this charade has given me a certain skill set in crafting stable, firm masks.
I think I know one of your people, Julian.
I'm sure you do, sister.
This is something I've wanted for a while. Rupert Levine needs to live. He needs to be younger. You know what I mean?
I do.
You could make this happen for me.
Anything's possible.
Does it have to be exactly him, or can it be a junior? Some down the line relation?
It wouldn't be the first time I've been my own son. I think we've all been there. Or we will be, right? What do you want then? If you can give this to me, what would you want in return? All I'm asking is a conversation.
Right. However,
Might be easier just to give me that conversation, you know.
I do know. However, we don't really know what our failure state is. We were told to make sure that there's no interference, and a conversation could very well be that. So what I would suggest is a little bit of patience. If you truly think that the Camarilla is an ill fit for these Lasombra coming, that will work out. And then you can have as many conversations with them as you want.
They'll probably find their way to you. And besides, a conversation is so short-lived, whereas a new persona has a whole lifetime or more.
And new friendships.
Who wants to sell him on this idea? Who's got the best manipulation, persuasion, or charisma persuasion?
Probably one of the two of us. What do you got, Lilith?
Probably Lilith, yeah.
So 3 in manipulation and only 1 in persuasion. So it's a total of 4.
Hold on, where's mine?
How's your charisma? Is your charisma any better?
Mm.
Or is your manipulation higher?
Shit.
I'll let you take your higher dice if you can.
Manipulation is higher.
I got 4 manipulation
Ooh.
and 2 in persuasion and presence.
Oh, and you
Persuasion.
can activate your presence.
Oh.
I have 3 in persuasion, 4 in manipulation, and just 2 in charisma.
But I will let Lilith do it. I'm not going to exert any force here.
Mm-mm. She's just going to use her feminine wiles. And on that note, let me know if you succeed. I have to just real quick.
Go ahead.
Thank
Lilith,
you.
then roll me your manipulation persuasion.
Okay.
And if it would help, given the Gangrel's affiliation with the Low Clans and the thing I have, the Bruja being among them, if any way that I guess Arthur could lend credence is like, no, you can trust them. Like otherwise, I would not be here. You know this. I mean this. We are two peas in a pod.
Let's see how her roll goes.
Yeah.
And then
And I mean,
if we can add something to it, we'll see. Oh,
so I got a 1. Oh, so I critically succeeded?
well, you got a 1. You got 110. We'll count that as 2, but that's not really a success for persuasion.
Right.
Arthur, why don't you give me a intimidation roll?
Okay, that is the one social skill I have. Fantastic.
And
charisma, manipulation. It's Mock's next to it the same.
then that's good. Let's do a little charisma manipulation.
All right.
And while Lilith is talking,
Right. And I'm maybe starting to say maybe like, potentially maybe we could be present for one of these conversations or so. And maybe that's what kind of falls him out of interest or whatever.
what'd you get over there?
That is a 9, a 9, and a 6. The rest were non-conclusive.
You're kind of like Lilith's hype man, kind of standing behind her, giving the big nods. And when she finally gets to her crescendo about why, you're like, "Argh," and you can kind of pop your hands out, your claws, just like getting it.
Yeah.
One of those.
I have a specialty in stare down.
Oh,
Intimidation.
there you go. You're locking eyes then. You can lock eyes with Genghis. Show him your claws and your fangs. He smiles, right? All right. Get me my mask, and I'll forego the conversation for now. But if this turns into something, you come back to me and you tell me.
Of course. We simply don't want you to turn it into something before it has any conclusiveness.
I'm going to trust that you will bring it back to me at the right time.
And you should.
Again, too pretty for a Toreador. You should be a All right. Genghis will actually open up his hand a little and seal the deal if anybody wants to. This isn't a blood bond. It's more symbolic.
I mean, yeah, I think someone would. If I don't see anyone else, I would at the very least.
Yeah.
But
All right.
You were the one doing the talking. I was just looking scared. So you can go ahead and seal it.
All right.
Can someone sum up what happened, what I missed? Please.
With a little bit of persuasion from Lilith and a little bit of intimidation from Arthur, Genghis agrees that for a mask identity, he will forego his demands of a conversation with the La Sombra coming to town. But if those La Sombra turn out to have purpose or of some kind, he would like to know what it is.
You know, that just means Arthur has like steel balls if he did an intimidation thing, while all the people in this club are his people.
It was hype man intimidation. Is the
Oh,
way-
okay.
More like getting behind her and be like, "Yeah, that's right."
Okay, that's
Claw.
acceptable. I was like, what did I miss?
Yes.
But no,
Yes, take the deal. I firebomb your place. No big deal. Yeah, no.
it wasn't one of those kinds of intimidation. It was just using his body morphology to change.
Okay.
Yeah, he flipped out his fangs. He extended his fingers. He grew a couple of inches and hunched over his shoulders. He looks good that way. He looks menacing.
Like a werewolf.
Well,
Yeah,
not like a
Lou
werewolf.
Ferrigno. How dare you?
I know.
I am no filthy lupine.
Okay, good. So that's good. That's good.
Genghis is then presumably taken care of with this deal. You're downtown still. Crook is due north of you, north of Wrigley Field, at his crappy little bar, and Flyboy is out at the airport. Interestingly, you don't know where else Flyboy would be found. No Haven, no Flop, nobody knows where he spends his days.
I think with the night still being young, I'm assuming
is.
Genghis has moved a little further so I can just talk to our group, our smaller grouping.
You can.
Yeah.
We could even
Leave.
leave this bar if you'd like to go back outside.
Yeah, we can get back in the car.
Just to be wise.
It's like we should probably try to talk to, I know you don't want to see him, but probably try to talk to Charles and then take a day to plan out Flyboy's conversation. I have a feeling he's going to be the most interesting to deal with.
Well, Lilith, since you were the head of our negotiations, did you want to make a phone call to secure that mask?
Well, I mean, were we not using your connections to create this mask? We shall use.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that you were the one that shook his hand.
This is fine. This is fine.
Okay.
I can call. I will call.
It's up to you. I mean,
I'll go ahead and place the phone call.
fantastic.
So you're going to call Damien's people on your burner phone
Yeah.
and ask them for what?
So basically just to start creating a mask to give to
Robert Levine.
yeah.
Rupert.
Rupert.
Rupert Levine.
Yeah. To give
A level 1 mask is just a driver's license. It's not a particularly good one. It won't stand up to a lot of scrutiny. You can't call it in or anything like that. A level 2 mask is a little bit better. It's an actual ID that, if it gets run, comes back as authentic.
Okay. I mean, I'd ask for that because him being a businessman would need something a little more.
Yes, a level 1 mask is just pretending to be somebody. A level 2 is actually,
Is that a house rule, Jim?
actually, no, that's part of the mask identity.
Mask 1 is a good fake identity, including a credit card, bank account, credit history, birth certificate, all of that.
Oh, well,
I know this because I need it.
The
Take that away from me.
Yeah, the other one is one that would stand up to investigation by like
FBI and whatnot.
Interpol.
But the first one doesn't, right?
But the first one does not.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a nice little history. And like, I grew up in this town. I can get into clubs and a
Right. The
bank
difference
account.
between someone like ripping off your identity versus being in witness protection, I think.
Let's definitely say that Genghis wants that second level,
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
You're going to call one of the Damien's people to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than role play the call, they'll just take the information and say, yes, we can make that happen. It will be a little bit of time, but you assume by the next evening, you should have something for Genghis. Do you want it delivered to you? It's got to get to Genghis somehow.
Right.
Do you want to take it to him, or do you want to entrust somebody else to do that?
I want to take it to him.
Okay.
Keep the connection small.
And I would probably go inside to kind of ensure Genghis that the request has been placed and you should be hearing from us shortly, kind of a thing.
That phone is gone.
Right.
So that one is burned. You can break it, throw it away. By the next evening, you'll have something to give to Genghis, and you'll have an opportunity to go back there and see him.
Okay, sounds good.
The next one was Crook. You wanted to go see Crook?
I think that is our next.
Or are we talking about Flatboy?
Crook.
Crook. Give us a chance to make contact, and if that doesn't work out, we'll have a day to plan out for both of them if need be.
Right.
All right.
Be right back.
Crook's
I'm
Bar.
really, really hungry.
Give me another half hour.
What? Oh,
Then we could all get out of here and get some food. But Crook's Lounge is up just north of Wrigley Field. I should probably show this to you on the map too. Here we go. Let me give it to you here. At the southeastern edge, near the Uptown area on this map, Crook's Lounge is in a neighborhood just off Montrose. The north side of town, this is really where you can see the sprawl of Chicago. These are neighborhoods for as far as the eye can see. There's no more tall buildings, no more skyscrapers, nothing like that, but just tons and tons of houses laid out block by block, mile by mile in one of the largest sprawling metropolises in the world. Crook has a little bar. Like I said, he owns a bunch of dives. He loves owning the dive bars. And this is just a little place that he has in the Uptown area. There you go.
hey,
Crook's
bands
Lounge.
wanted.
And comedy is back Wednesdays at 10. So that would be tonight.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, please. I need a stand-up comedian in the middle of this.
Send the sheriff. He can do both the music and be the judge.
Yeah.
Definitely get a reaction.
I was definitely out of character, right? People hear things.
So there you are, Crook's Lounge in the north end of town. It's, boy, if you're driving your Tesla up to this place, it stands out. And
I think Julian is used to that.
you know, it wasn't bad driving the Tesla up to the steakhouse. They have valet parking. They were ready for it. It wasn't even the nicest car there. Sorry, I mean. Really.
Oh no! I purposefully.
This place, yeah, this is the nicest car that people have seen, you know, within many miles and many, many years. So it's a low end neighborhood. This is the kind of neighborhood that's got hair salon and insurance
Combined.
Yeah, they're both the same place in a mini mall.
Well, I
Dive bars.
I think I'll let the two of you take the lead on this one.
Which two are you talking to?
They know who I'm talking to.
Arthur?
I know for sure Arthur, but I don't know between.
I am the one who knocks. Yeah. Arthur will lead. This is, this is more his territory, being who he is.
Fair enough.
Little vampire.
The interior of Crooks is much exactly the way you would expect it to be. It's a thin little row bar. There's drunks at the mahogany. One of them is just like face down with a shot glass next to him. Crook himself, he's there. You could see him. He's definitely Nosferatu with the big ears and the jutting mouth and the full of wild teeth. But he doesn't bother to obfuscate himself. The humans that are drunk at the bar, he barely pays them any mind. They barely pay him any mind. To them, he's just a burn victim. He owns the bar. They feel sorry for him, but that's why he wears the goggles and looks like he does, and nobody thinks twice about it. Ah, he says, oh, look at what he got here. Yeah, you coming in here into Crook's bar, are you? Well, welcome.
We appreciate your welcome.
I'm always happy to see another kindred from the right side of the pond.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. And I like your little puppy there. Hey, he's a good one. I might have some snacks in the back I can go check.
Oh well, you will make a friend for life if you do.
Yeah.
May we take a seat?
Yeah, grab that table over there. He'll snap his fingers a couple of times, and somebody will actually come running out with some dog treats, and he'll throw a few on the floor so Napoleon can eat them up. It's not the steak from Mortons,
Right.
they're dog treats.
Or the human femur, but yeah, it's like you're going to get so fat today. Spoiled rotten.
So I got a bunch of you coming into my bar. That hasn't happened in quite a while. So tell me what you want. Usually the prince just leaves me alone.
As enterprising businessman such as yourself, I imagine you have your ear to the ground. You are aware of things unfolding within the city, hither and thither, I suppose.
Hey, you don't own a bunch of these types of bars and not hear some stuff. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. The visitors, right? That's what you're talking about.
Precisely.
Yeah. So, what do you want? You want me to kill him? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Well, not yet. But
Because look, I can blow them up. I've got the bombs. Yeah, you just tell me which car they're coming into town, and I'll just put the bomb in the car and kaboom!
given who they are, if the prince gives that command, I'll be sure to throw that your way. But we would prefer, and by we, I suppose, the royal we of the prince, we prefer that the Rosombra delegation be unmolested during their visit.
Now that's not any. How's that going to be good for anybody in the town? That doesn't make any sense.
I know it's quite boring, but
yeah. Oh, I suppose you're taking this one personally there. But you've never been a real Sombra to me. No offense.
not taken.
When the other ones they come to town, they're coming from the Sabbat,
Mhm.
and when they come from the Sabbat, they're coming with they're coming with their beast. They're coming with the baggage. You don't want them in town. You don't.
We don't want to incite something before necessary.
So, I'm supposed to keep my nose clean. Just let them come in town and do willy-nilly, do whatever.
They will not be doing willy-nilly.
They will be under as scrutinous guard as one can assume, given their uniqueness. But since we want to avoid a political incident until absolutely necessary, we would like you to have your talents reined in, and I'm more than willing to offer you distractions.
Oh, so you got some distractions for me, yeah. What do you think you should? What do you think I should be doing then?
Well, it depends on what kind of entertainment you seek. If you're looking for a place where you can carouse and steal some money from some unsuspecting Yankee schmucks, I, on this
wonderful little Moroccan cafe, in which I also happen to have a gambling ring, which I think a man of your talents could clean house.
Oh, yeah. The Moroccan poker night. I've heard of it. Yeah. Oh. So what are you offering me? Am I taking control of the game?
Well, I would be more than willing to let you sit in with a your entrance fee paid for by yours truly, as a personal guest.
All right, that's a bit of something, I suppose. But you know, you don't want him in town.
Not your re-buy-ins, but your initial buy-in.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do not. I was here in the '90s when the Sabat last came up like the gophers they are. Trust me. But I agree with you, I really do. But these are not my calls to make.
You know what's the worst thing? Julian says from the far end of the bar. He's like playing with whatever trash is on the counter. Being expected. You know? Like, for someone who's built their whole life and their persona off of being the wild card, to be anticipated like this, it must be tough.
You're trying to sugar talk me, I think.
I'm not. I'm simply pointing out the reality. I mean...
So you think that because they sent you to me, I'm a bit too predictable?
I'm saying that you doing your first instinct to light it all up might fall under that.
Besides, imagine the tension you can cause when they're expecting it and they wait and wait and they just get more anxious. Sometimes the waiting's the best part.
Yes, sister, the anticipation, right?
And then the final little snap. So nice.
Who's trying to sell him on this one now?
I'm just helping.
Just helping.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I wasn't the one who's leading on this at all, so.
I don't know. I'm not really trying to sell anything at this point. I'm just speaking.
I mean, look,
I wasn't the one that offered him a spot in a secret gambling ring. I'm just saying.
Do they have mahjong?
I do believe it's just poker, but, I don't know.
There's poker, the occasional blackjack night, but there's mostly poker. Mahjong, that's over in the place we do not go.
I know.
It's so sad.
Come
see, come sa.
If I take you up on the poker, and that's all right, it's something. It's not as good as burning down the La Sombra, you mind you.
Well,
but it's all right.
And should then, in the midst of the poker games, if you find that the competition is not up to snuff, I can provide to you some intermediate contacts of mine. Should you need to light up someone, this is Chicago. You know that there is human garbage everywhere. Some of them I make a business in making disappear. So, if you have that itch and it grows too intense to ignore, you can contact one of my people and they'll give you a list of names of individuals you can catch on fire, douse in battery acid, do whatever you like. Just make sure that you don't break the masquerade in doing it. It doesn't trail back to me or to the prince, and of course not to you, because I would love for us to have an ongoing business relationship of some sort or another.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you to the test. I want you to try to get me something to feed on. Right now,
He looks at
There's a guy. There's a guy right there. Do you just want to feed on the table, or do you have a room in the back?
Let me help you out a little bit. I don't usually feed off of my customers because that's a bad business plan. But there's a church nearby. Oh, no offense there, sister. But sometimes I like the challenge of feeding off of one of them. So I'll tell you what, you got a faithful one. You got a faithful one that your boy can give me.
I might.
You or him, either Arthur or the sister. But you understand? I'm gonna put you to the test. I'm gonna slake all my hunger.
Making one of mine disappear. She doesn't have to be beautiful, does she?
Oh no! Take a look at me. I'm not particular.
Does she have to be willing?
I'm not particular.
When do you want the spy?
Tonight.
Right now? Tonight.
Yeah, do it for me. This is your test. You do this, and I think I can trust you.
Arthur, do you have anyone that you have? Because I have someone in mind that she could go.
You have someone in mind.
Well, if you've got the fruit right for the picking, it'd be a shame for it to go rotten.
She keeps on running away. I don't know why. I told her it's dangerous out there.
Well, then she might as well make herself useful for something.
Right. She has run away a couple of times, so she doesn't like solitary confinement. In the convent, of course. And she might have slipped out the window again.
So
we just have to get there.
This is good.
Sister, you, when you left this evening, did you take the church van?
I did take the church van.
With a driver or without?
With the driver, and they probably just dropped me off. Like, the thing is, he owes me a favor. He drinks. I don't tell. It's okay.
Well, what I was going to suggest is if that driver went back to the convent, you could call him and have him bring your...
My wayward lamb?
Yeah.
Thing is, that driver of mine, he'll drop me off places, not ask questions for whiskey, feeding his vices. He doesn't ask me about mine. But asking him to actually kidnap a convent sister would be probably pushing too far. He's not one of mine.
Was Charles suggesting that there's a church nearby? He wants somebody from that church?
Oh, any church. He just, that's the one he usually feeds at.
So timeline-wise and distance-wise, would we be able to do that right now?
He watched...
Before daylight? I'm asking storyteller-wise.
You've taken some time to get up towards the north side of town. That's a little bit of a hike through Chicago. So we're after 2 a.m., probably closer to 2:30, 2:45-ish.
Let's just go get someone.
It would solve I do want to do your test, but with the time right now, we could just get you any old thing, or I can get you something you actually want.
I just, the Arthur one there was talking to me, and he says he could just make a phone call and this would happen.
Oh.
Arthur did say that. Arthur, is there a way for you to make a phone call and make that happen?
Yes, or I can prove my worth in actions do speak louder than words.
Well, Charles, if I understand, you're pretty straightforward. If you asked for what you wanted, I'm sure we can.
I mean, I do believe I've asked.
Yeah, I heard you. As I'm still at the bar on the far side.
No, I'm just waiting.
Arthur, I'll make this call.
We're all waiting.
I'll do this call, Arthur.
Oh, so Charles believes that I believe that the sister is going to fulfill your request. How kind of her.
And Arthur will procure his little black book, write out the address for Moroccan poker night and the Dropbox contact for certain waste management services.
All right.
So I'll make my call, and I'll call in, I guess, the favor we're allowed. I'll let them know where they can find that little tramp, and just to bring her in.
Are you calling Damien's people to bring her in?
I would
Using
hope they
burner
could do
phone?
this. Yes,
Oh
using my
yeah,
burner phone.
they can
Yeah.
do it. Okay.
She's just she dresses like little and goes out, finds herself a little corner, this one park she thinks we don't know about. Please.
I love
Damien
it.
has
I love
people. His hounds work for him at all hours of the day and night, so he can make this happen. With your instructions, and obviously the fact that you know this campus very well, you can instruct them on how to find her, where exactly to find her, and how to get her out. This will take a little bit of time. Say, give yourself about an hour, and a van will screech to a halt right in front of Crook's club. Crook actually has a basement that he can go down into. This is all of his bars, actually, you find out, have a private basement for Kindred who are on the outs with the Camarilla to use as a flop or a place to feed whatever they might need. Little safe havens just dotted all over the city. Your wayward lamb, he will take straight downstairs and finish her. He's actually going to drain the body all the way down to a husk. You see her shrivel. You can actually see the skin start to tighten. You can see the whiteness come all the way up into the face, and all the flush of the flesh is gone.
As she's fading, can I actually tell her, I told you it's dangerous out there?
She doesn't get a word out, but you see her eyes open like, ugh.
Julian is in the back in the corner, just intensely interested in watching her die.
Crook must have been hungrier than you imagined, because he was voracious in tearing into this girl. He sucked the blood out faster than it wanted to come. He's got it just dripping down his face when he's done. He's like, I needed that. And now I'm going to try that other number you gave me and see what your waste management people can do to get rid of this one.
Small notes, we typically use the code of 1 order Soylent Green.
I love that movie. I remember that. Charlton Heston back in the day. All right, then. Yeah, you seem to have lived up to your word. You gave me some food. You let me do the deed all the way down to the end, right in front of you. Which you know as Kindred is that this is the kind of thing that stains your aura if you're not remorseful about it.
Right.
Crook doesn't seem remorseful about it, and he doesn't really care.
This probably would have been Lilith's first time witnessing something like that, so she's a little bit changed now.
It is a horrifying sight to actually watch somebody get drained, and because of what the sister did, to be aware that they're about to die.
Right. Like, I just saw someone call in someone to get killed.
Yes.
She should have listened.
I mean, we were just at a steakhouse. I don't see the difference.
Exactly.
Fair enough. But Lilith, this is what he would have done. That guy. He would have had to have...
Right.
And wouldn't have known why he did it. Or how to stop himself from not doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if it's striking you in any way, it's because of that connection, I think. That, when you don't know and you can't control it, this is what happens to the humans.
Right.
But Crook is a bit satisfied. Hey, all right, you can have your little somber party, and I won't interfere, but I'm telling you, you're not going to want them here. Send them home. Send them home as soon as you can, or kill them dead. Those are my advices.
They are taken under advisement. Thank you for your understanding.
Crook thanks you, especially you, for Arthur, for your help. He's going to place call to the waste management, and here's the same thing you often hear. Just put it in the recycle bin. Somebody will be there within 10 minutes. And sure enough, he drags the body out to the back, throws it in the blue bin, and he kind of watches through the peephole to see who comes. And he sees what looks to be like a normal garbage truck pull up and empty it with guys in uniforms, and it all looks on the up and up. No one would suspect otherwise. It's good contact. For the rest of you, and now that you're all together again, what are you thinking about? You have Crook's compliance as far as it goes.
I'm looking at the time storyteller, like in-game.
Because we had to wait about an hour, you're now at about 4:30 in the morning.
Well,
2 hours, and you're in the north side of Chicago. Getting over to O'Hare is actually going to take up a good amount of that time.
For myself, I think we've done a decent clip tonight, and I do need to get back and make sure that Ellis hasn't done anything, and I also need to make sure that, well, her room is emptied.
That's true. You need to clean up a little bit at the convent.
Yeah. And I mean, based on how far away we are from my house, I would be thinking about needing to get on transit as well.
From where we are, I mean, boy, north of Wrigley Field, that's a ways. You are as far north of the city as your haven is south of the city.
Right.
So, yeah. If you're not going to accept a ride or from anyone.
Is that a thing? I mean,
I don't want especially one person in the group to know where I live. Yes.
well, then you could ask the one who probably lives almost in the same type of environment.
I mean, yeah, we could. This is correct. But if being who Lilith is, if she can make it on her own home, then she would. She wouldn't ask for help.
She's an independent vampire.
You've just done a favor for Crook. Oh. If you were to ask him, that basement is secure. It is a flop for Kindred when they need it. And if you can't make it home, you might be safer just staying at the bar.
Is it going to weird her out? She's going to be in the same room where that girl just got Capri Sunned? I mean... Jesus.
I would wait and see if Julian leaves. Well, we're all gonna drive back to Mortons, right? Because Arthur's car is at Mortons.
That's true. Arthur did leave his vehicle there. So head back there? Is that a plan?
I would like to. I vote to.
Where's Narvin?
Following.
I assume.
Yeah. From here, he's in the neighborhood just down the block. If you look over your shoulder a few times, you'll spot him in a car, just a basic sedan.
I'll say, you guys can take Narvin's car back to wherever you guys need to go, and Narvin can take the Tesla. I assume that Lilith, you want to remain discreet about your place of rest.
It is not ready to be seen yet. It's very new to me, and I'm not ready for visitors.
Of course. I mean, for someone of your upbringing, I would imagine that an upgrade would be in order.
With time, I'm sure it will become presentable.
By the way, have you given any thought to...
I have. And as much as I would love the opportunity, I'm afraid it's not something that would be completely advantageous to me at this time.
Tell him to stop that.
He mooned me.
What? At least it's nighttime.
When he walked past. You could see it on his face when he walked past. He was getting something.
Omni, it wouldn't be in your best interest to work for Omni Media Group?
It wouldn't be most advantageous to me. It is very interesting, but I'm afraid I'm going to need something a little better before.
Oh, like what?
Better than an internship.
Very nice. I was hoping that you would assert your value. Absolutely, we can get you set up with something to bring in some income.
I would say you do well in HR. You know, get to vet all the people. See who's
Absolutely. On air, talent, producing. I mean, the sky is the limit. Fashion, you dress very well.
Aesthetics are my forte.
Wow. Well, if that was the only sticking point, then we have an accord.
Let me go ahead and shake his hand. I'm assuming he's trying to shake mine.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll shake. Well, then one way or another, I'm gonna find out where you live because now you work for me. So, shall we all go?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So,
in the coming nights, you'll discover Omni Media Group's headquarters and also the studio where they shoot the show. In fact, if you're working for him now on Wednesday, they shoot on Friday, which I imagine will probably come up in the next session or so. If you're going to accept a ride, you have a choice. Narvin can go back and drive the rest of them, and you can take that sedan that Narvin was driving.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever would like to, either Lilith or even the sister.
I can't drive.
You can. You just don't have any benefit to it.
No, I can't
I
drive.
can drive. If the sedan on its own is being offered to me, I would take it probably.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. Narvin will be in the Tesla with me. He'll give you the keys to the sedan, and he'll give you a burner phone because he needs to be able to get that car.
Right.
So just leave it out front, and he'll come with that and the onboarding papers for you to start your employment at Omni Media Group.
I think it would be better to do it in a third-party location. Why?
Well, you haven't formally applied yet, sweetie. There are protocols.
Correct.
So he'll bring you the application and he'll pick up the car he's letting you drive to protect your discretion as a favor.
I think she's having a hard time with the trust.
Good thing there's money involved.
Yeah, that's true.
Get in the car. I'll expect the car back in the morning. All right, we're going. Everyone else?
Yes, I need to definitely get back to the convent, please.
Everybody else is in the Tesla, so it's up to Lilith what she's doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume she takes the sedan.
Right.
That'll get you home in time.
No, I might leave it a couple blocks to walk home, right?
You would. I think she really would do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or leave it in front of like someone else's house and then just be like, oh, it's here, and then walk.
Yeah, and it might be in the same area, but one that looks nicer.
Nicer.
One of the nicest in the area.
Of course.
That's fine. That'll work for you.
She's smart. That
Sister,
works.
are you riding with them or are you going home a different route? You are closer to your convent right now, being up in the north of the city, than going back north.
I'm actually going to have them drop me off at the park that they probably found the wayward lamb at, and I'm just going to retrace her steps back, just because I have to make sure, because I know which way she goes. She does this. She did this a lot. So I'll just find the way back, and actually, instead of getting changed back into my habit, scale the wall the way she did to get out, and that way, just backtracking her way, and I can get home pretty safely.
Yeah, if you go down, I was going to say this is the north side of town. From Crook's Lounge, you're almost due west, past Wells Park and straight down Irving Park Road. So you'll get home before the sun begins to rise. Yeah, there you are. At Norwood Park. You get home in time to clean the room, the dormitory that your former wayward lamb had done. You can even forge maybe a little runaway letter, if you like. Leave it on the desk. I can't stand it here. I can't do this anymore. I've lost my faith. Goodbye. That kind of thing. And then you can go check on K. Marshall Ellis. You left him in your library. And when you go back, he's just been at it. He's just been writing. There's papers everywhere. And it's all part of his design, the thing in his head that he's trying to get out. It's hard to explain, but he could tell you a little bit about it.
I know it's been a while since I've been like you, but isn't sleep a necessity?
Man, who can sleep, when you got all this running through your head? It's just too much. It's too much. I got to get it out. I got to get it out before I can ever rest. It's all up here. But you don't understand.
Then explain it to me. In layman's terms, if you please. Slow you down. Breathe. That thing that I don't do.
Your blood. That stuff. You call it vitae. You know why? Because it's not blood. It's power. It's real power. See, imagine a phone that when you press the button to turn it on, it took just a sample of your vitae. It verified that you were kindred through and through. And that vitae powered the phone so that it could turn on. But not only would it turn on, it would turn on with your information because it was your vitae, your emails, your contact list. So even if you went to another phone, once it sampled your vitae, all your information comes up. See, your blood and technology can work together. And that's what I've done. I've created blood technology.
And is it hack-proof?
Even another kindred couldn't get into your phone.
And how does it store my information? Where does my information go? Because I know about this technology now. Everyone's information is getting hacked for these humans.
It's like it's on the cloud,
Exactly.
but it's not. It's in your vitae. The vitae that flows through the electronic circuits contains all of your information.
And it goes nowhere else. It's just in that phone that I'm using.
It doesn't matter if it goes anywhere else. You could post videos. You could have a Facebook page. They'd never be able to trace you. The videos would never go back to anything. The Facebook page would just dissolve. And it doesn't matter what you put. This blood technology.
how did you even get started on this?
Well, I'm an inventor. I work out in San Jose. I was working with computers. I was working with electronics. I was working with, cutting edge quantum rails and stuff. And then, a guy offered me enlightenment, and I drank it. And then after a while, it was all I could crave was his enlightenment. But boy, it made me smart. Made me smart. Made me able to do all of this stuff. But now it's all up here, and I got to get it out before it fades.
It'll fade?
I think so. I don't know, but that's why I'm writing. And sure enough, he's got pages of diagrams and calculations and algorithms and everything all over the place.
Well, do me a favor. Continue writing, of course. Don't burn yourself out. Put this all in a comprehensive, layman's term way, and I would like you to present this to possibly Julian, run it through him, and then perhaps the prince?
Yeah. I will do a proper prospectus like we used to do in the old days, and then I'll lay it out, and maybe even a little multimedia show, a little video, we'll work on it.
Okay, just make sure you rest, so that way you can have a good presentation. Not you're doing better, but not this.
Okay.
All right.
He will take your advice and go find that couch and finally crash. He feels like he's gotten a lot of it out. You too can find your rest for the evening, sister. You're back home amongst your convent, your people, your flock. Mm-hmm. And Lilith, you've made it home too, just to leave that car a couple blocks away. Julian and Arthur riding together, I imagine. At least back to Mortons, or okay. Then Arthur, you could pick up your vehicle there, and Julian, you could head home from Mortons. Is there anything you want to do on the way? If you had maybe a half an hour to spare, either one of you.
Arthur, if there's like a Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere, is going to stop by and get a bundle of rattan, about yay big, yay long. Just load them into his trunk.
You could find something like that. It's easy enough. It probably won't be a Lowe's, but in the city area, there's like a little mom and pop hardware store that would have what you're looking for.
Yeah. Help himself to, yes, like a bushel of like the rattan rods.
Any plans for them?
Yes.
Okay. I won't pry. Then you can make it back to the lion's den pretty easily. You can feed Napoleon, give him some water, whatever he needs, and rest your head for the evening. Julian, you've got a little bit of a drive, but you'll make it home before the sun comes up over the lake. Anything for you? You've had an interesting night.
Yeah. I'm going to say to Narvin, I want to speak with her.
She wants to speak with you.
Fantastic.
It won't be tonight, though, obviously. But when we pick up next, it will be the Thursday as opposed to the Friday, since we still have to deal with Flyboy. Mm-hmm. You could think on that during your day, but I think we'll end it here for this session. We've got intrigue and interest going around. We've got some business being done, and we've got some La Sombra coming to town. So it's getting exciting. And I'll use my will to take us back to the whatever page and say goodnight to everybody, and thank you for tuning in. It's early for us here in America on the West Coast, but hopefully people in Europe tuned in and had a good time. That's what I'm hoping for. I want to be a big hit in like Germany or Poland or something like that. So The polls, tune in. All right, we are here on Saturdays doing this vampire show, but my cast has other things. So going down the line, let's start with Lilith. Tell us who you are.
I'm Grace. I played Lilith to this afternoon, to this evening, I suppose. You can find me Wednesday nights at, what is the time? Is it 9 Eastern?
It's 9 Eastern, yes, for Tales of a Savage Land.
Yeah, and you can find Tony there as well. And basically everywhere on social media as FFS Grace.
For fuck's sake, Grace.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, Grace. That's me.
And what about you, Sister Vindicta?
Oh, I'm Milen Ray. I played Sister Vindicta tonight. I really don't do anything else much for video-wise. This is my first one here. Tony got me instead of Will. Although my brother, Jonathan, does play on Tales of a Savage Land, so I enjoyed watching that.
Did I tell you I had to make sure that he was going to Georgia and not coming up here to surprise you?
He knows better.
Okay, he knows better.
No need to Plan X. Plan X is bad. As you can see,
he was
what
like, I'm
happened
going
that
to
wayward
out of state. All right. And then Wes, how are you doing?
I'm great. I was Julian White. I'm happy to be here. I also stream a Dresden Files game on Geeks on Seats as GM, and a Tal'Dorei game on that same channel. The Dresden Files game is Mondays at 9:30 Eastern, and the other game is Wednesdays 9:30. And I'm here.
Man, if people are tuning into us, they have a lot of opportunity to see some good role play happening. We are all over the place.
Yeah.
If we tune into the Dresden Files and we haven't finished the series, will that spoil a lot, or are you just doing just playing in the world?
No, it's more using the world.
Okay,
Cool. Because now I know I can jump into without ruining.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not that far. Hey, Tony, we need to start a book club.
Well, we might have to. We might, because I'm Scott, man. I'm just inches away. If I find like 20 minutes in my day where I have time to read a book,
right? Exactly. Yeah. No.
They have audio.
I might have to do it that way. But let's finish it off. Art of Alon. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. I am Alex Maxwell. I was Arthur Volan this evening. Everyone's not so friendly neighborhood gangrel. And
perfectly friendly, I think.
No, that's Napoleon.
He's friendly for a Parisian. But you can find me wherever video games are played as Stormwolf92. And I'm already hankering for next week. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, this is coming along nice. I'm enjoying it. What you play video games online? Did you jump into Borderlands 3 by any chance?
Yeah, I've been struggling to divvy up my time between Borderlands and Greedfall because muskets and magic is my fucking aesthetic. And man, they're both so good, but they both require so much time.
Completionist issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, Greedfall is just the quest for the biggest feather and the biggest hat. So, that's
That sounds fantastic. Well, thank you guys, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you all again next week. And if I do this right, my will shut off the Twitch stream right on time. And thank you to Will DM.